right. Good Monday evening, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of the forecast. We are going to be talking about an isolated, very discrete supercell, which is making its way in the direction of Union County, which that is a portion of our viewing area. So we've really just been in a wait mode for it here in the last several hours. It's been very slow moving, only pacing at about 10 miles per hour. So if you're a good runner, you in theory can outrun this storm. Not for a long term, but it's a very slow moving storm. So again, that's just trying to the point we're trying to make with it. So it has taken its sweet time getting here to the viewing area in the high plains. It does have a radar indicated tornado warning on it, so we will take a closer look at it at least here in a second. Do want to get this shared to a few other locations. It's gone out there, there, and there. So this storm got going around 5 o'clock this evening. It started as just a small little cluster or group of cells, but has kind of worked its way into a severe standings here over the last couple of hours. It's been it's been moving southwest at about 10 miles per hour, so it's been a pretty slow mover. Haven't really seen it make a whole lot of movement in our direction. It's actually a lot further west than most models were suggesting. So again, looks like maybe even the panhandles probably don't even have to worry about this storm, just based off of where it's at now and kind of the direction that it's heading. Let's take a closer look at it from a localized standpoint. Closest radar we have access to is the Amarillo or Dodge City radar. So you can see we're looking at about 18,000, 20,000 feet up. So you're really not going to get a very good view of this storm, but it is becoming what we call high precipitation based, which that hook in that classic supercell is starting to go away. The structure's still probably there, but it's just a lot of rain underneath that storm as it moves into that really rich environment with the dew points in the mid 60s down there, which is extremely high for Colorado. It is, again, radar indicated for that tornado warning, has a destructive tag too, which looks like they may have lowered that. They've got a new warning out, which is not destructive. So they've dropped the hail size to tennis balls here in that last update 60 seconds ago. So that is why it's no longer a destructive storm, but rather a considerable threat, severe thunderstorm warning, but still has the tornado warning on it just because of the rotation that it's got. It's had a very good couplet there for the last 15 20 minutes. It is wrapped in rain, so it's probably going to be impossible to see anything in there. So just treat it as if there is a tornado on the ground. If you're in Kim, you need to be in your safe place, getting in between you and the outside world, putting as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. This storm is going to be very, very slow moving. So again, when it starts to impact you, it may be there for a little bit. So you may want to stay in that storm cellar for a little while. But currently they're in Los Animas County up in southeast Colorado. We'll eventually get into Union County. There's not a whole lot out here, Guy. About the only place, maybe a couple hundred people here kind of downwind of this storm up in the north side of Union County. You've got Clayton, Royce, and Mount Dora down here on 87. This is really kind of the more populated areas, and we'll put that with a grain of salt. Really, Clayton's about the only largely populated area with just some really small communities in here too, but McNeese Crossing, Sanisa, and then Guy, you guys are kind of downwind of this. Mount Dora, Royce, Grenville. You guys, again, will probably have this storm moving y'all's general direction here over the next couple of hours. It's slow moving. You've got plenty of time, not an immediate threat for Union County. I do want to show you our Skycam look of that storm. Again, it is tornado warned, but it is radar indicated. Again, we can't see much from Des Moines, but you can see the sun setting and putting a nice or casting a nice hue on the clouds in the updraft there as it continues to go up. But this is about the best that it's going to get in terms of being able to see this visually from a Skycam viewpoint. Blake Brown is out there underneath that storm. He hasn't gotten back to us here in the last 10-15 minutes, but last we heard, there was no tornado on the ground. It was just a tornado warned for radar indication. But it says it's a beautiful supercell. Again, probably putting down some really mean hail and some pretty strong winds. The severe thunderstorm watch is going to run until 11 p.m. this evening for Cimarron, Dallam, and Union County. It's until 10 o'clock there in Union County Mountain Time. So it'll expire at the same time, which we've got another 2 hours or so for that. The marginal and slight risk, you can see, it's been trimmed back. We actually got taken out of the severe threat risk here in Amarillo. With how slow these storms are moving, I'd be shocked if they even get to the Texas Panhandle, just because it's going to be pretty late by that point in time. Temperatures are cooling off, our instability wanes, and our capping inversion gets much stronger. So that storm probably doesn't get to Dallam County. If I were to bet money on it, I would say it probably dissipates somewhere over the north central side of Union County. But for the few hundred people that it could impact, lime-size hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds, low chance for tornado, but still there is that chance there, and then some isolated flooding issues just wherever that narrow band of very heavy rain comes through. The rest of us will stay dry and quiet tonight. Temperatures are 78 here in Amarillo, 86 in Clovis, and 82 in Shamrock. You can see those dew points really, really high, especially in the southeast or in the upper 60s there. Lower 60s back over in the northwest. Boise City pretty juicy there at 64. But again, that storm is just riding that boundary of moisture air, and then winds out of the south and east around 10 to 20 miles per hour. So you can see the model is really backed off on that storm getting into the Texas Panhandle. It's about the only one that we'll have to deal with for today. And then for tomorrow, we have really, it's the story changes from severe weather potential, which we've been dealing with on a day-to-day basis in that northwest flow. The ridge providing the northwest flow actually kind of parks itself over New Mexico and the west central panhandle. And so that actually takes away a lot of our wind shear. We'll still have some instability, so we may get a pulsy severe storm here or there, but largely the heat will probably become your dominating topic, at least weather-wise here in the weather center. We are expecting those temperatures to probably be in the lower 100s on Wednesday. I know we've been very wet, but model consensus starting to suggest that we'll be in that 100 to probably 102 range across most of the area, which we have not seen triple digits so far this year in Amarillo. Normal first triple digit day is June 23rd, so we are way past that. Even if we do see the triple digits, usually it's bound to happen. The last time we didn't see 100 degrees in a summer was 2015, which was 10, 11 years ago. So again, doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. And even if we don't get there on Wednesday, we probably get there on Thursday or Friday. We've got a kind of long stretch where we're going to be right at 100 degrees. And it doesn't take but just a few minutes for it to technically become that official high temperature. Now, as we move into this weekend, that ridge is expected to drift to the west. And so we may start seeing more of that northwest flow come back into play by the time we get into our Sunday, Monday, and maybe Tuesday of next week. Models do not show us very wet, but with kind of how things have panned out the last few days, maybe something eerily similar. Again, we've got a 20 pop Saturday, Sunday, Monday for now. The thing about the ridges is if it backs off, we'll see temperatures relax. So we won't be back up near 100 degrees. But for about a 5-day stretch, it's going to be right there near the century mark. Very, very hot. It's been very wet recently. So the humidity is probably going to be a lot higher than you've been used to for the last several summers. This summer is going to be a little bit different. We may actually have to start talking about heat index values rather than the air temperature. Normally, our heat index values are something that we don't really talk about for Amarillo. Normally, our heat index is actually cooler than the actual air temperature just because we're so dry up here. Your sweat can evaporate readily, and that's a cooling process, and that just is your body's natural way of trying to beat the heat. But with some of those morning lows in the lower 70s, dew points pretty high in the upper 60s, it could get a little steamy out there. We may even see some heat advisory level criteria or that excessive heat advisory criteria being met just because of the humidity out there, especially in the east-southeast panhandle. So places like Childress, Clarendon, Paducah, you guys may end up worse off than the rest of us as far as temperatures are concerned. But it's not going to be like a ridiculously hot temperature. It's just going to be a very humid one compared to recent years. So that'll be something to look forward to. So I haven't seen a new update come out from this lone supercell just yet. Last one we had was it was to tennis ball sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds until 8:15 p.m. Moving south at 20 miles an hour. So it's actually picked up speed a little bit. But that's pretty much all we've got going on. Again, it's just this one little thunderstorm that is severe. We've got a weak thunderstorm out there just north of Elkhart. You can see a lot of anvil bolts. These are actually from way away from this parent thunderstorm, but that's what is responsible for these storms, these lightning strikes up there on the north side of Cimarron County. It's because of that supercell there up there by Kim. So that's just a really, really powerful thunderstorm and very, very big, very good structure for an August supercell. But I think that's where we're going to leave it. Again, this may be still another hour out before it actually gets into the viewing area. So we're going to end your live right here. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update as to where it's at, kind of where it's headed. Really, Union County is about the only place that's going to be dealing with any kind of heavy rainfalls, some large hails, some damaging winds, maybe a potential tornado. Again, it has not produced a tornado yet that we are aware of. Blake's underneath this storm right now, keeping close eyes on it. He says he has not seen one as of last conversation that we had with him, which was about 15-20 minutes ago. But again, that's kind of a rural and rugged portions of the country. He doesn't have great cell service out there. And so being able to communicate with him might be a little touch and go for the moment. Actually, he just sent us a message. Oh yeah, definitely a high precipitation supercell. Not going to see anything in the rotation of that one. It's just wrapped in rain, which is not surprising. I mean, the dew points up there are in the low and mid 60s, which is pretty ridiculous for Southeast Colorado standards. I feel like having a dew point in the 70s here. I mean, this thing's in elevations of like 5,000-6,000 feet, so it's really high up. And so to have dew points that high with that storm is pretty impressive. So not shocking that it is a HP supercell that is crashing to the south. You're going to have a narrow corridor where there's some very, very heavy rain from this. Let's take a look at our accumulations here over the last 3 hours. You can see that they've got pockets of 2+ inches of rain up there in Bent County. Rain amounts have kind of slacked off a little bit just due to this storm having some faster progression. So more on the order of 1 to 2 inches rather than 2 to 3. So, but still a very healthy rain for a few people out there. But that's all we've got. Again, once it gets into the viewing area, we may give you another quick update, but it is just the one storm that we're probably going to be dealing with for the next couple of